Hey everyone, and welcome. It's your teacher, Mr. Rita Adele, and I'm so glad you're here with me for this special review session. Today, we are going to get you totally prepared for your big Unit 5 test.
Now, I get it. The big test is coming up, and that can feel a little stressful, right? But seriously, don't you worry. We're going to walk through everything step by step. By the time we're done, you're going to feel so confident and ready to go. Trust me, you've totally got this.
So here's our game plan for today. We'll kick things off with some key words about hobbies, then we'll see how to use them with the right grammar. After that, we'll get into making comparisons, face a fun little challenge, and then you'll be all set for the test. Sound good? Let's jump right in.
All right, first things first, our awesome hobbies. Before you can become an expert at something, you've got to know the right words to talk about it. So let's make sure we master all the vocabulary for our favorite hobbies and free time activities.
Okay, let's start with all the fun stuff you can do outside. When you go camping, that just means you're sleeping outdoors in a tent. But of course, you first have to put up a tent, which is just a fancy way of saying you build it. Go hiking is when you go for a nice long walk, maybe in the mountains. And one of my favorites, to have a picnic, is all about enjoying a meal outside.
Now, what if you're feeling more creative or maybe a little techie? Well, you can do arts and crafts. That's when you make cool things with your hands, which I know so many of you are just fantastic at. You could record a video, which means you film something with a camera or your phone. And of course, a super popular one is to play computer games.
And speaking of crafts, here's a really cool one, origami. It's a traditional art from Japan where you fold paper to make these incredible shapes, like birds or flowers. And the amazing part? No scissors, no glue, just paper. It's a really neat hobby to know about.
Ready for some action? Let's get into some action-packed sports. Archery is that really focused sport where you shoot with a bow and arrows. Boxing is a sport where you fight with special gloves on your fists, and wrestling is all about grappling with your opponent. And get this, here's a super cool one from way back in history. Chariot racing was a huge sport in ancient times with horse-drawn carts.
Awesome. So we've got the words down, but now how do we use them correctly in a sentence? That's where go, play, and do come in. Knowing which verb goes with which hobby is absolutely crucial for the test. This is super important, guys, so let's really focus here.
Okay, so here's the secret, and it's actually pretty easy once you see the pattern. We use go for activities that end in ing, so you go swimming or go hiking. Easy. We use play for sports that use a ball, for games, and for musical instruments. You play football or play computer games. And finally, we use do for activities you usually do by yourself, like crafts. You do arts and crafts. See? Not so bad. You guys are doing great. Now, let's switch gears a little and talk about making comparisons. We're going to dive into adjectives. Those are the words we use to describe things. This is a huge part of your test, so let's make sure we nail it.
So let's say you want to compare two things, right? Like a big elephant and a small mouse, or maybe a fast car and a slow bike. To do that, we use something called comparatives. But there's a little trick. The rule is different for short adjectives and long adjectives. Let's check out how it works.
Okay, for short, punchy words, think big, old, fast. The rule is super simple. You just add to the end of the word and then add than. That's it. So we say Cairo is bigger than Alexandria, or Ahmad is older than Ali. Easy, right?
But hold on. What about longer words like exciting or expensive? Yeah, exciting just sounds weird, doesn't it? So for these longer words, we put more or less before the adjective. For example, football is more exciting than swimming. Makes perfect sense.
Fantastic, but what if we're not just comparing two things? What if we want to talk about the number one, the top dog, the absolute best of the bunch? For that, we use superlatives to show something is the top of its group. And you'll see the pattern here is pretty similar. For our short adjectives, we put the right before the word and we stick est on the end. So, Ali is the oldest boy in class, nobody is older than him, and Rasha is the youngest girl in the group.
And for our long adjectives, you probably guessed it. Instead of an ending, we just put the most or the least right in front of the word. So we'd say, gold is the most expensive metal. Or maybe, if it's just your opinion, you might say, running is the least interesting hobby.
Wow, you have all been paying such amazing attention. I think it's time to see what you know. Let's put everything we've learned to the test with a quick pop quiz. You ready for a little challenge? All right, question number 1. They sometimes blank hiking in the Red Sea Trail. Should we use go, play, do, or have? Think back. What's our rule for those ing words?
And the answer is go, of course. Remember, we always go hiking, go swimming, go camping. Awesome job if you got that one.
Okay, next one. This is about our adjectives. Which sentence is correct? Is it A, Cairo is bigger than Alexandria, or B, Cairo is bigger than Alexandria? Think really carefully about our rule for short adjectives when you're comparing two things.
And the answer is B. Cairo is bigger than Alexandria. For a short word like big, you got to add ER and then than to make that comparison. You guys are on fire. Great work.
That was amazing. You guys smashed that quiz, which tells me one thing. You are ready. We're almost at the finish line, so let's go over one final checklist to lock it all in.
Okay, so when you're studying, just remember these key things. First, your go, play, and do rules. Got it? Second, when you compare two things, it's either or more. Third, when you're picking the absolute best, it's the est or the most. And of course, just look over all those new hobby words one more time. If you remember these things, you are going to be in fantastic shape.
All right, everyone. I want you to listen closely to this last part. You have put in the work. You've prepared, you've practiced right here with me today, and you are absolutely 100% ready for this test. Go in there with your head held high, feeling proud and confident. I have no doubt you're all going to do an incredible job. Good luck, class.